Welcome to SGN Tech Forum. This is ISR Initialization Part 3. We are going to focus on wireless part this time. In previous video, you have seen how we set up the wired part using NAT, and now let's go and provision wireless. These are the wired config. Let's ignore that. For wireless, we are going to do something interesting. We are going to use not the day zero redirect URL, but we are going to use an app on your iPhone to set up wireless or a wireless controller. So go ahead, if you are an iPhone user or Android user, search for Cisco Catalyst Wireless. And once you have it, you're going to open the app and let's follow the instructions. All right, now you have the app downloaded. Go ahead and scan the QR code, which is at the back of the router. Once you scan the QR code, you can log into the app using web UI and password is Cisco. If the scanning QR code doesn't work, you can also connect to it manually. So you have to connect to the SSID called Cisco Air Provision. Once you are connected and entered in the app, what you can do, you can set the management account, and this is the username and password you are creating for embedded wireless controller or EWC. So we are using an initialization of our EWC using the app. You can also use redirection UI and etc. But it's kind of like a cool to show how an app can help within network management. So set up your EWC management IP address, DHCP it has already got from the router, and then you can go ahead and create your wireless network. That means the SSID that your user will use to connect to the network. In our case, we are creating a SSID called SDN-ISR, and this is just for testing. Uh, we'll create a network type employee, and we are going to use security personal. That means you can use just a simple password or passphrase to connect to your network. That's all the basic configuration you want to do. Once you do that, you hit deploy. The app is actually configuring the device in the backend, and it is asking, do you want to save this as a site name, some friendly site name? You may have multiple EWC, so it is asking you what it could be the site name for this. And in my case, I do have multiple ISRs. So I'm going to say ISR 1131 and something. Okay. So now my SSID will be available. It will be broadcasted. It will be available for users to connect. So let's wait a little bit and try to connect to the newly created SSID, which is SDN ISR. As you can see, we are connected to that. And sometimes this Wi-Fi error, because we are switching between one Cisco provision, Air provision, to newly created, so it is the error is for the previous one. And now, as you can see, you may be tempted to log in using the same username and password, but mind it, you are not connected to Cisco Air provision anymore. You are connected to your SSID, and what does that mean? That means you need to use the password and username what you created for your EWC management. And you have seen me creating SDN and the password one. So use that password, not the Cisco Air Provision default. Once you use the new username and password, you'll see that you are connected to EWC shell or web UI from your app. How amazing is that? So entire wireless controller is available on your phone via an app, and it's a nice summary how many WLAN you have, how many clients are connected, what is the AP information, everything you can see from your phone. It may not be like a full-fledged management and provisioning portal, but it can give you a nice snapshot and quick troubleshooting on the go. So I really like this app. Yeah, please take a look. Here, as you can see, we have summary, we have AP, we have our clients, and ample of stuff here. So this is my controller info. As you can see, the controller, since EWC is running on AP itself, and what is the AP model? AP is AP 1101 APX. One WLAN, one access point, and one wireless client right now. Okay, I quickly move my screen to the laptop, and here you can see I'm connected to wireless controller via my laptop, and this is a full-fledged management UI where you can perform all kind of configuration. That means you can take a deep dive into the WLAN what you just created. You can assign different kind of security, layer 2 security, layer 3 security. You can assign policy tags, site tags, just like how you deal with your wireless controller, whether it's a 9800 on-prem appliance, it's a 9800 cloud version, or it's something running on the switch. In this case, it's running on a ISR router. Same stuff. So you can do monitoring and you can do configuration part as well. Right now, as you can see, I have two devices connected. So I have two active client. While we are here, I would like to give you a quick tip. If you have your router in your close proximity, how you can tell with the LED itself. If you see the wireless LED blue, that means it is working properly and it has client connected. And if you see the wireless LED green, that means it is ready, but there is no client connected. So you should expect to see green or blue given the time of the day. Also, I want to highlight one key thing. While going to router, I would like to show you show run include HTTP. As you can see, I'm running IP HTTP secure server. Why is that? Because the router or nowadays switch, they also have their web UI. So if you are not very much a CLI person, you can manage your switches and routers via web UI. And as you can see, 192.168.100.1, this is the IP address for my router UI. And you can see the product name is C1131X, whatever is the part number. So don't get confused between EWC and router UI, though they are two, they look similar, or you can be tempted that why one product have two web UI. They are for different purposes. This is for your router, and if you have switch, maybe switch. But then the other one or the previous one, it was solely for EWC, that means wireless controller. So that's why I'm switching between the two and make it very clear that you have full flexibility to manage things from web UI if you prefer to do so, but don't get confused. You have, for one single product, you have two web UI. So this is how it looks. I think I have already done a couple of videos about EWLC and web UI on your switches and router. So we are not going to spend much time here. What I would like to do instead is go back and connect to the router. From router, we will connect to the controller shell and view the controller configuration from CLI. All right, so let me stop this video here and we will log into router in a moment. Now, so you are familiar with web UI and comfortable, let's look the configuration from CLI perspective. So what we are logged into our ISR 1131 and I have not one but two SSH sessions. So what is happening right now? My laptop is connected to the newly created SSID, and from that SSID, since we are in the same subnet as the router, we are connecting to the router over SSH. And from here on, what we would do, we would get into the AP itself. So how you will figure out where is the AP lives? For that, to a show platform, and it will list out all the chassis or inventory related information. Here, as you can see, slot 0, and these are our subslots. Subslot 0, 3, that's where our AP lives. AP 1101 AX and wireless P domain. That's our AP status. Make sure your state looks okay. It's not out of state or something. That means it's working properly. And also, you can see what firmware version we are running. We are running 17.7.1. This is the EWC or AP firmware version. Correct. So now let's see how we can connect to subslot 0/3. For that, what we have command called hardware module. From this hardware module, you can connect to subslot 0/3, and then you can do a lot of operational related command like error recovery, if you want to do a password reset, maintenance, reload, start, stop, all those things you can do with respect to that AP. But our goal is to connect to this AP, and for that, what you're going to do, you're going to create a session. And what we are going to do, hardware module session, and then it asks for which slot and card, 0 or 3. And from there, you select, do you want to clear the session or you want to create a session? I want to create a session endpoint, and let's say 0. And here I am ready to connect to AP shell, right? And as I hit enter, the console is returned. You need to enter the username and password. You must be wondering like which username and password. So let's go back to the router console in other window and see what username and password we have created. You can see, sorry about the typo. This is the router console, and you can see you have couple of username password created. Can we use the same to log into this? So let's use the clear text username and password, which is SDN, and we know that privilege is set to 15. Should work. And I just type the password what I showed you in clear text. It says authentication failed. Why? Because that username and password is for router. Go back in the video and see what was the admin credential you created for EWC while initializing this EWC from your app. You have to use that username and password, and that is nowhere visible in router. So make sure when you initialize your EWC, you have taken a note of your username and password, and that's the same username and password you can use to connect to your web UI. And here I'm going to do that. This is our web UI. Whatever management user you created, the same user you are going to use to connect to the console, because this is essentially the same thing you are connecting to the controller. All right, web UI is working, so let's go back to our console, and we are going to repeat the same username and password here. Voila, we are connected to our EWLC CLI. As you can see, welcome to Cisco Catalyst 9000 AP embedded wireless control. There is nice banner here, and we are dropped into um, the exact shell. We are not in global configuration for that because we have the enable password set. Use your enable password to log into the global configuration mode. From here, you can run all sort of commands, like you can do a show run, and this show run is going to be a lot different from what router shows you, because we'll be able to see the AP show run, AP hub, that means radio related configuration. You can see we have the flow exporter, which is sending net flows to WLCs. That's how you can see the application visibility. And then it has its own RSA key pair. That's how we can connect to it or SSH to it. And then we have this interface 0, and this interface 0 essentially having the DHCP on it, and it when the router boots up, this AP talk to the outside network via this gigabit Ethernet 0, and this gigabit Ethernet 0 is essentially stitched to WL018 on router interface. So on AP side we have gigabit Ethernet 0. However, on switch side or router side, so IP into brief, you can see we have WL08. And this interface is always in access mode. That's why we need no encapsulation on our interfaces. We also have HTTP server, authentication local, and all those things configured here. And as you can see, we have a lot of wireless related policies. So everything what you can see on UI, this is the CLI interpretation of that. Like you can see, we have created a WLAN, the PSK, password shared key, and all those things. AP profile, what is the channel profile in radio you are going to use. Everything is defined here. And finally, I'm going to show you the management user. So when you created or initialize your EWC using mobile app. That's the moment you created your management user, and that is captured here. Let's run some verification command real quick. For verification command, show wireless is your friend. You can do show wireless. A lot of things you can do from here. You can do show wireless summary, give you all the radio related or AP related information, client related information in one shot. You can do show wireless client summary, or a lot of things you can do from here. Let's do summary. So you can see I have two devices again connected. One is my laptop from where we have SSH to it. There is another one. So all those things you can see here, number of excluded client, and a lot of things, whatever you can verify from UI, you can verify from CLI. One interesting thing I would like to show you here is, now you have done your configuration part, you want to exit out of it and go back probably to router session, because from router session you dropped into AP session. Now it's time to go back to router session. What you can do, if you do a exit, you will see that you are still in WLC console, and if you hit return a couple of times, it will ask for username and password. So you are stuck in the loop. The quick thing what you can do, there is a shortcut for that also, key shortcut, but I'm going to show you a clean way which you can do. Open another session, and from that session what we are going to do, I'm going to say hardware module session clear. So any open, you have to define the subslot, and from there we are going to say clear. Once you do clear here, this is going to clear the log or session here, and look at it, where you are in the router CLI. So this is all I wanted to show you for from wireless perspective. So in three-part series of ISR 1131X, we have done the initial unboxing, one-shot install in part one. In second part, we have taken care of NAT and the wired connectivity. And now in final part, we initialize our PWC. We know how to configure it from UI, how to verify from CLI, and all good. So we'll continue building it on top of it. So I'll catch you in next video.